Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday morning again, and it's time for Rama on Writing. This is our Business of Writing and Publishing webinar, and today our topic is going to be on email marketing. I have to tell you that this week I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. Basically, I've been involved with the remote retreat, getting that all taken care of, talking to everybody was going to be online, in addition to talking to a number of authors in our publishing program. And I just plain didn't have any time to prepare. So I chose a couple of topics for the two webinars that I know quite a bit about. And these are two real critical components. This first webinar is on email marketing. The second webinar is going to be on blogging. Both are critical components in our marketing and promotion. And I think that in many cases, we don't really understand what it is, what we're talking about, what we need to do. The reason I chose email marketing for the first webinar was I was talking to one of our authors this week who is going to be doing a book launch, I'm thinking next week. And I'm not sure if I want to mention her, but we're going to try to send out some information about the book launch, so you'll probably put two and two together. But she was going to do a free giveaway with her book launch. She was creating a workbook that, went in line with her book. And she was, looking at how to do this. She's working with Denise. And as she spoke to me, I realized that she was giving this book away. Her plan was to give this workbook away for free. And, I'm not saying that for free isn't the right thing, but free is different than getting an email contact name, okay? So it's not a monetary, free that I was concerned with. It's just if you give something away in a marketing campaign for free and you're not willing to make them give you their email contact info, then you're really wasting your time and effort, okay? Sure, it's great to give stuff away for free, okay? But if you're not willing to ask for that email address, and that's what she was saying. She's saying, well, I don't want to make it difficult and make them give me the email address to say, well, look, if they're not willing to give you an email address to get something free, then what's the whole point of it? Okay? So, we as authors aren't necessarily business people. And so I really, kind of need to stress that. Many of us have a revulsion to charging for stuff. So, we have to kind of get over this. Sure, we're all very altruistic and we want people to read our book, but the reality is we've exerted ourselves quite a bit to go through Tom's writing class, the publishing program. We spent hard cash, gang. And so we need to accept that this is a business. And if we're going to, have these feelings, well, I don't, it's too difficult for someone to give me an email address, then we're way off base, no matter how good, we think we are. And this gal was a businesswoman. So, it was a disconnect. And because it was so clearly a disconnect, I felt that, I need to revisit this idea again and again and again, because, I think a lot of times it's our nature that we want to be altruistic. And, we kind of have to step away from that a little bit, and if asking for an email contact is going to, cause us to, think that, well, that's too difficult a thing to do, then we have to reassess what it is we're after, why we're doing it. I post a lot of stuff on my Facebook page, Promote Your Book Now. Most of that stuff is related to a free giveaway from an expert. And you'll notice in 99.9% of those cases, the first thing that expert is asking for to get the free piece of PDF is your email name. So this is the way these guys make their living. And we want to emulate this. This is a marketing component. Many of us are going to be moving into some sort of teaching environment, speaking environment relating to our topic, and this is how it's done. Some of us don't know it yet, but we will be doing this. And, we all need to look at ways that we can collect names to this list. Many of you have worked with Greg with your website, and one of the key components is contact me or, sign up for my newsletter. There are a number of ways that Greg has, integrated this into our website, and I believe that more is better here, okay? That we want to have a quick link for people that want to click. We want to maybe have a slider that comes across and says, for a free chapter of my book, sign up here. The pop-up is another great approach. And many of the authors are using the QR code, quick response code from the back of their book to go directly to a sign up for the newsletter chapter, a giveaway. So all of us have skills that we may or may not, realize. And in the email marketing, essentially, you do need to entice that email address out of people, okay? As I mentioned, one of the classic approaches is to offer a free chapter of your book. You don't want to give the whole book away for free unless you're doing some kind of contest or something like that. And some of our authors do run a free ebook, in the process. But, through our website, offering a free chapter, offering a free consultation, offering something to get that email contact is important. And if anyone doesn't quite grasp why we want that email contact, let me take a step back and say that most of us are going to be writing more than one book, okay? So if you do a good job of collecting email names, by the time that book 2 comes out, we already have a list to market it to. And you can very easily take your email list and say, hey, my second book is out there. Click here and you get $2 off or something like that. You kind of need to continue to entice people to part with the, few dollars. But, the email list is really a critical component. One of the reasons why this whole conversation came up was that the gal was going to give this thing away through Amazon. And one of the critical components with Amazon is that when someone purchases your book, you do not get their contact information. Okay, because you're really not involved in the sale per se. So we, I think after the conversation I had with her, she really got what I was after and saying, hey, look, you really need to give the freebie, a link back to your website to click on, and then you can collect the email contact info. They can download the book, however it's done. And I don't know if any of you have been, have ordered a free PDF or something like that. It's generally a double-blind system. What they do is they make you give a good email address, and what they do is they give me the email address, an automatic responder responds to that email address, and then they have to click on that email. Okay, so they've checked to determine that you're not giving them a bogus email address. So it's what I call a double-blind system. It took me a long time before I realized why this was going on, why they did that. And then it dawned on me that this is just how they verify that it's a good email address. And when you sign up for something online, even to develop an account on Verizon to check your your phone status, that's how they do it as well. They're causing you to respond to an email to verify your account. Okay, so this is the way of the world here with email marketing. Well, the other component about email marketing is that it is not a static environment. This stuff changes, and one of the current big changes that has hit the industry over the past year or so is the use of the QR code, quick response code. If anyone doesn't know what that is, I'm looking around to see if I have something with a QR code on it so I can just show everybody it. Give me 1 second and I'll be back. Fortunately for me, I have a pile of books. Okay, what you see on the back of this book is a barcode, and next to that is the little square QR code. Okay, so now everyone knows what that is. Okay, now initially, what we were recommending for the authors was that QR code go directly to the website. Okay, a QR code is essentially used with a mobile device. Most of us have a smartphone. There is an app you open up, you point your smartphone on it, and that's how you do product research. That's how you find websites. The tablets do the same thing. And all that was fine and good because it got people to the website. What we've determined is that the next step for that is to have it go to an actual opt-in for your mailing list. And that could be just a page that Greg sets up that says, your name and, sign up for the mailing list. It could be something related to a newsletter. I find that having a free chapter of your book available is a really good enticement, okay? Because then they get to see your book, and you may think that they have your book already, but they may not. They may have found your book over at someone else's house or in a different environment. Even better than that. So perhaps they have purchased your book already. Well, maybe a chapter of your yet unpublished book. Take a page out of the movie theaters. What do? They create the best scene from a movie that is yet to be even finished filming, and that's what you're watching in the previews. And 6 or 8 months later, when that movie hits the theater, you remember it and say, "Oh, that was cool. I'm going to go see that one." So again, you can use this as an enticement. You could just have it as a blog post. I mean, there are all kind of options. If you're a coach or something along those lines, then you can offer a free 10-minute consultation with somebody. Okay, I tell you, most of the jobs of coaching are just to be there so that someone has someone to talk to. So you don't have to even know what you're coaching about. You can just say, I'm a mountain bike coach or a publishing coach or whatever, and you will get people into your system. We all have our own expertise. We've all gone through different, things in life that have changed us, and we can offer insight to other people. So this is, kind of a, somewhat of a little stretch for most of us, but one of the keys on moving into a coaching or consultant environment is that we are many times stepping out of what we know into, out of our comfort zone. And ultimately, in order to be a successful author, we do need to step out of our comfort zone in our promotion, because that's really not what most of us are all about. There are a few authors that I've encountered in this game that are all about promotion. I don't think we have Jack on the line today, but I'm just checking the names because he usually dials in. Jack is a 84-year-old gentleman, and he's a businessman, and he's all about promotion. From day one, we talked about promotion. So, and there are more and more authors that understand how important this component is for our, promotion, our success. Well, I'm going to unmute our web expert and just kind of have him explain again how many of the authors have utilized a contact software for their email marketing, and let them kind of just refresh our memory on what the options are on our website and what some of the authors have given away in this process. So Greg, you have the mic.
Excellent. Hopefully my voice comes through clear and everybody can hear me.
Yeah, you're
thanks.
Loud and clear.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks, Rama. Appreciate it. Yeah, some of you may have, let's see, I'm looking at the list. I don't see anybody currently sending out newsletters now. There's people signed up, and right now they're in the process of the collecting the names. And a lot of times I always, like Rama said, I tell them, well, let's offer them something, maybe excerpts or a free chapter. I'm working with Christina Vondell right now, and she chose to do excerpts like from each chapter as opposed to giving away one particular chapter. So she thought that would be a better enticement because of the nature of her book. The excerpts would serve a better purpose. And she's also not only giving away that, she has what she calls picture cards, and she calls them touchstone images. And then she puts on like an inspirational quote on this picture card with a nice nature setting. So she's giving away those for free, but it's also promotion, but because it has her website on there as well. So people can get these images, put them on their desktop, they can share them, and they'll see that the website, like, well, maybe I'll go to the website and check it out. So she's giving away, she has to pay for the images, but the long term is it's free marketing in a sense, because people can give them away, copy them, and send them to other people, and that's going to get her presence out there. So that's one thing that she's doing as far as giving away 2 items. I had another author, Joan Shaver. She was doing she can offer continuing education credits. So if you signed up to read several chapters of her book, take a quiz, I'll build a quiz for her, and then if you pass it, you would get free continuing education credit. So there's another creative way to offer the book, and you're also getting people to buy the full book as well. So, but a lot of authors are picking selective, specific chapters. Now I tell them, get a chapter that's going to entice them, something that's going to whet their appetite, that says, I got to read the rest of this book. I got to find out what happens next. That's the whole idea behind it. Is like Rama said, with the movie trailer, they're teasing you with the great image of a movie, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait till that comes out. So now you've built anticipation, and so when the book is released, or Rama said maybe your next book release, you're building anticipation so that people are coming back and wanting to maybe read your blog more often. And along with that, the nice thing is that, like, I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to start blogging more about like email marketing and blogging, as far as helping the authors learn how to blog better and the different things that you want to look for. So you might be thinking, oh, good, that's great, because I've been looking for some tips on that. And then you're thinking, well, I don't want to have to go check his blog every day. Well, you don't have to, because I'll blog about it, but then once a month, or maybe once every 2 weeks, I'll send out a newsletter that recaps the blogs that went out. That way you don't have to worry about missing them. Same thing with you and your newsletter. You can recap the blog posts that you've done and give little teasers. Say, oh, this article, give the article title, maybe a picture that relates to it, and then a little paragraph that introduces what they could read about, and then a link they click on from your newsletter right back to your website. And that's where you want them, because that's where you're doing your promotion. That's where your other blogs are. That's where all your book sales are, or anything else that you might be selling. I have authors selling other things other than their books. So there's lots of potential with the newsletter, and you can, send out an announcement like Rama said, like, okay, here's the progress of the book. It's in this stage, and help the readers, let them know about your process. They might not know what it takes to write a book and get it published. So share that with them. They might appreciate that, because now you're letting them into your world and knowing a little bit more about you as a person, as an author. And I think a lot of readers like to hear about that.
Greg, let me add something here. Greg mentioned the Boogeyman newsletter name, and many of us, are thinking, oh man, I don't want to have to make a newsletter. It's just more work to do. And so what he mentioned was classic. That a lot of times an author will just recap their blogs in a monthly newsletter or bi-weekly or something like that. So it may not require a lot of additional content. You might have one small cover story for each newsletter, but essentially you're reiterating some of the information that you've already created over that month. When we do our monthly newsletter, Tom writes something, Gwen writes something, Rama writes something. And then we post some activity that you all did, some of the authors who released a book or became a bestseller. And then, Tom talks about, well, here's the next retreat that you can come to, or here's a new program that we're developing. So it is somewhat of a reiteration of what's happened, and it's really quite easy. And it is essentially one of the key, and maybe the key component to the whole email marketing concept. Because at first, many of us don't have a lot of thought as to what we're going to give away, and our promotion is just at the beginning. We haven't developed it that much. So the newsletter is kind of the enticement for, why you would give an email address to get on someone's mailing list, is to get, a update on what they're doing. And I cannot tell you how many mailing lists I'm on. I've given my email address, and sometimes I give one email address, sometimes I give the other, I don't know. Sometimes, I give the wrong one. So I'm getting business things in email that's mostly personal and stuff like that. But there generally is a good reason for getting this kind of information. And I can't tell you that I open every email that I get from everybody. I usually look at the subject line, which comes into being another really important component in a newsletter, in a blog, in any of these things, is to talk about, well, what is the subject line? We're going to get into that a little bit more in our next webinar, because it is really critical in blogging to know what subject line we are going to be working with for each blog, because that's real critical. But if you've ever, gotten 100 emails a day in your email file, which ones do you open? Okay, first you're going to open the ones from your closest friends, okay, because, that's how you communicate with them. Then you're going to look at the subject lines of the ones that are kind of a mailing list, and if that subject line is of interest to you, then you're going to open it and take a look at it. So email marketing is all about subject line and how you encourage someone to click. It's not an automatic thing. And, a lot of us are on email marketing lists where we're getting a newsletter, but we've never opened up that newsletter. Maybe initially there was something on that site that we wanted to gain access to, but we've never really clicked on anything that they've ever sent. Okay, we don't want to fall into that. Ultimately, we want to create a subject line that's going to entice people to want to click. And that takes creativity. And we're lucky because we're all authors and we're all creative. So, we can do this, okay? If you look at the way the big boys, when I say big boys, I'm talking about the internet marketers, okay? If you look at the way they do it, they have the system down. Well, we can emulate the system. That's really the simple part of it, okay? And of course, most of us, are terrified about that component anyway, but that's the easy part. The harder part is, well, how do I get someone to click? How do I get someone to click on that, to open that up, even for that free, whatever it is we're giving away? And as I say, we're at an advantage because we are creative authors. So we can sit down and, in an hour, in 15 minutes, we can write down 20 or 30 different catchy subject lines. And we can start playing a little bit. And one of the beauties about the contact software is that you can actually track the number of clicks that you get for something that you're putting out there. So you can determine that, oh, this type of catchy subject line really worked well. And maybe it's about puppies, Say that puppies and cats are the biggest things that the people click on in the internet. So hey, we all, most of us have puppies and cats. So whatever it takes, and as I say, it does take some level of creativity to sort the wheat from the chaff, to sort through what is going to work. And we're going to find in this process, and I think this is a critical component as well in our marketing, is that we're going to find, as we do 100 different things, that 5 of them we like doing. Okay, well, let's spend our time on those 5. Okay, not to say that we don't want to also devote some time to the 95 other things, but we're going to spend the majority of our time working on the things that we like to do. And there are things that we can all plug into and develop that work with our promotion that we like doing that will have results. And of course, you never know. Tribes. I forget whose book that is. Sierra, why don't you unmute yourself and tell us about that book? I know we've talked about it before.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant book. For those of us who are sort of marketing resistant as well, you know, who, like, I have had to grow into the whole idea of business and marketing because it didn't come naturally to me. But this book is great because it helps you to identify, well, what am I interested in? Basically, you know, what you're saying there is you're finding people who are interested in the same kind of stuff as you are. Therefore, it's not a big sell once you've identified your people, if you know what I mean. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're coming through loud and clear.
Okay.
You know, what you're really identifying with the tribes, and it's a great word for explaining this, is that, you know, you kind of all have a genre that you're riding within. And in that genre, you know, there are kind of, you know, maybe even subgenres and stuff. And as you identify, you know, who are the people or the type of people that you might kind of radiate with, you know, you're able to market better and better to them. And I do want to, you know, reiterate what Kiara said, is that, you know, she's not alone in this, you know, it's almost a resistance to marketing, but I think it's more a fear than resistance, or a fear of the unknown. You know, because, you know, most of us, a lot of us haven't had to do this. Even, you know, even myself with a business for 20 plus years, I did very little marketing other than build it and they will come. I mean, that's like an easy approach. And of course, we did such a good job of that that we got into all kind of trouble and all. But, you know, so that's, you know, that's essentially the first step that all of us are, you know, involved in, is write it and they will read it. Okay. And that can take us so far, but there's a huge market there. No one has to actually physically come to you to get your book. And so we do need to put this structure in place. And the email marketing is it's kind of the glue that puts it all into place. You know, we have our website, we have our social media, we have our blog, we have our newsletter, but all of it is held together with the email marketing component. So, as I say, you know, it's all interconnected, and this weekend was our digital marketing weekend, because we're talking about two components. Bear in mind that in our next webinar, and I'm just checking the time, in our next webinar, we're going to talk about blogging, and that is very interconnected with everything else. You know, so I've gone to the term digital marketing. Initially, I used to just say social media. But you authors are so resistant to the term social media, you know, that whenever I mentioned it, you know, if the authors knew what I was talking about, they started making excuses right away of why they weren't going to do it. And then when I shifted to the term digital marketing, I still got the same sort of resistance, but it was almost like an acceptance now. And the reason why it became an acceptance is because of the term marketing. Okay, so if I called it social media marketing, then I might have gotten through. But by calling it digital marketing, I really started to, as I say, I still ran into the same level of resistance, but then in the next breath there was this acceptance. I mean, we all have to recognize that we're in a digital age. So since we're in a digital age, digital marketing is how we market. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make that jump. Um,
Hey,
so,
Rama. Hey,
yes.
Rama. Maybe I can show them a real quick about the email marketing, to kind of take some fear away, just to show how easy it is. I can share my screen here. Let me get the right screen here. Let's see.
If you click the screen share, then you can select it. It'll give you another window.
Screen share with computer sound. Okay. Can you see? My screens are flickering right now, so I'm hoping you're looking at the